What's up with it? This big bro Grizz. You watching Player Talk. We freestyling again. We just gonna keep this shit raw. Uh, all right. I was talking about overcharging in a couple of the last videos, but I was talking to the fellas about how not to be overcharged and don't let them overcharge you and stuff like that. So I want to talk to the women about why you shouldn't overcharge men. The harder it is for a dude to get at you, the higher your price is. I would never ever tell a woman to be easy. I got a daughter. I would never tell a woman to be easy. The thing you need to do is stop wasting dudes' time and be honest about what you can genuinely attract. Because attention is different from intentions. A lot of women can get attention from all different kinds of dudes, high quality, low quality, whatever you want to label it as. But just because you can get that man's attention, is he coming with good intentions? So don't mistake attention for people having good intentions with you if you're a woman. Because I see a lot of times, if you're driving, just seeing a woman that the silhouette could just look halfway decent, and a lot of people are going to look at her just to see what it look like. So a woman will mistake dudes looking at her all the time. Maybe she got a big butt, or maybe she just look halfway decent. So you mistake that attention for something else, and it give you a delusional sense of who you are. And you don't want to do that. You don't want to walk around here delusional, thinking you're something that you're not. That ain't gonna help nobody. It definitely ain't gonna help you. So let me go a little deeper in this then. I'm gonna go past the whole introducing yourself to somebody shit, and I'm gonna assume like y'all talking and being intimate with each other. So if you're a woman and you already being intimate, giving this dude access to your body, this is where my point of talking about overcharging really comes into play. If I'm already being intimate with you, the more difficult you are, and the if you choose to kind of raise your price as we going, my expectations is going to rise as well. So it's common. I think this is where women learn this from. Women dealt with some dude and they gave him as much sex as they wanted, and then the dude got tired of him and left him alone. So from here on out, they was like, I'm gonna ration this shit out. That makes sense. But I'm cool on the rations though. Me personally, I'm for real. I'm cool on the rations. So a big thing with a woman is women a lot of times I notice don't take a lot of pride in their sexual performance in terms of how they make a man feel. A lot of women I notice take more pride in having a lot of men wanting to sleep with them than they do being a good sexual partner. That's why I'm coming from the perspective of y'all already being intimate with each other. So I'm assuming y'all got some type of relationship going on, even if it ain't completely exclusive, but y'all already comfortable enough with each other to be having sex and stuff. So I'm curious. I want to know what the dudes think. I want to know what the women think too. Why do you feel like, as a dude, why do you feel like women like to become more difficult about the sex as things start to progress? And women, why do you do that? Let me know in the comments and stuff like that. So this is what I've commonly kind of noticed will happen. As a woman starts to raise her price as you're going, it's a couple different reactions. The first reaction for me would always be like kind of to chill. Like if I know she become more difficult, I'd naturally become like a little more agreeable, which ain't good because you'd be like, man, I see she trying to start a fight. I ain't even gonna participate in this fight because I'm gonna want something tonight. That never really went my way. Avoiding fights in hopes of getting some action later on that night, that don't work. You know what I'm saying? Because if a woman is trying to find excuses not to sleep with you, at the end of the night, she just won't sleep with you. She'll just do the I'm tired, or she'll just blow you off and be like tomorrow, and then tomorrow she'll say tomorrow, and then she'll say, oh, I promise tomorrow, and then it'll go on forever. Trust me, I done experienced it. I'm not just talking out of my ass. I'm talking from experience. So what'll happen is, like, as a dude, when you do be intimate, like when the dude do get up with you, he gonna probably drag it out. Like, I'm gonna make the sex last longer than it probably normally would because I want to enjoy it, and I know you being kind of difficult for some reason or whatever. And this will also come from me as a dude feeling like you don't have a logical reason to be difficult. That don't mean you don't, but I feel like, well, shit, I did X, Y, and Z. I've been covering the stuff I'm supposed to cover, so it shouldn't be no issue on my end. So I'm thinking, okay, you being difficult, now that we gonna have sex, I'm gonna make this shit drag out and last because I want to enjoy it as much as I can. Because I know you're gonna be playing games with the shit. So now this goes from then that becomes a task. That's when, as a dude, you start making sex a task because it goes past the pleasure threshold to where, like, it's like, okay, when do we stop? So women and men start to resent each other over sex. I think it's silly for a woman to be mad at a man because he wants to sleep with her, even if she think it's a lot or he has like a real high sex drive. That's your partner, that's your man. Hey, who else gonna do it? So as a woman, you can't expect no man to perform at his best if you know he's in a constant state of sexual frustration. My words are specific. A constant state of sexual frustration. When you know you dealing with a nigga and you just done had this nigga uptight for the last 6 months, and that could be like maybe in the last 6 months, y'all have had sex like 4 or 5 times, that nigga's probably sexually frustrated. So when you start to judge people when they performing out of frustration, it's not really an honest judge of their performance. Because in reality, it's a protest to your behavior. Like, that's how I looked at it. I started to come to the conclusion, if a woman has the right to protest my performance, like maybe she's not in agreement of my performance, she want me to do better or do more, so she's gonna get kind of tight with the cootie cat, that's cool. That's your right. It's your body. You got the right to maneuver like that if you want to. So on my behalf, what happens when I don't feel like my woman is performing that I think in the way I think she should? You really can't withhold sex from a woman because it don't really work like that. You like, maybe in certain instances, in certain situations, maybe you can. But I'm rarely in a situation where you can just withhold sex and that's gonna help you get what you want in terms of your woman acting better, performing better. So as a dude, what I would do is I would be less helpful. Like, oh, you need help with that? Oh, you got it. You independent. You know what I'm saying? Oh, you want to talk? I'm cool. I ain't got nothing to talk about. Oh, it's some event you want to go to or something you want to go to? I'm cool. I'm all right on that. Oh, you tired? You need a break from the kids? You got it, Superwoman. That's how I'm a protest. Because just like you get to protest by all of a sudden getting uptight with the cootie cat, I can protest by not being so helpful no more. The problem with this is accountability. It's a lot easier for a woman to get a man to take accountability for his actions than it is a man to get a woman to take accountability for her actions. So what'll happen is this. The dude, as a man, I'll protest by being less helpful. Instead of the woman, you could even say, hey, I'm only doing this because you acting like this or you doing that. Just like a woman be like, I'm not about to sleep with you and the bills ain't paid. I can't be horny when his bills due. I get it. I can't be helpful. I can't be all helpful and stuff when you acting all crotchety, when you acting some type of way. So I'm a protest by not being so helpful so you can see that I have value here. Now I do bring something more than a paycheck. Hold on. So what the problem is, since women actually struggle with accountability, she'll see your protest as just poor behavior. And guess what? She's going to get more selfish with the cootie cat. So I believe in talking, communicating. So you can sit down and you can talk all day and night. It don't really matter. When you start criticizing a woman about her performance, she ain't going to hear you. You know, it's almost impossible for a man to sit down and tell a woman what she's doing wrong and her to be like, yeah, you're right. Let me adjust that. That shit don't happen. So what the woman's doing now you done rolled your price so high because you being stingy with the cootie cat. This is raising the price of something. When you create scarcity in the market, it increases the value of the product. That's how they do with diamonds. It ain't that it's a scarcity in diamonds. They just limit the supply in which they put out at one time to increase the value of them. If you go anywhere to get them, to get high quality diamonds, they wouldn't be so expensive. So as a woman, when you start to get stingy and more stingy with the cootie cat, that's raising the price. So my expectations is going to rise for our intimacy. Shit like, I'm going to expect you to initiate then. If we ain't going to have sex that often, then you need to initiate when we do. That's almost like counterproductive to her whole point anyway. That's almost counterproductive to the whole point anyway. So, of course she ain't gonna initiate. She don't want to sleep with you at all. She being difficult. She being manipulative with the cootie cat. So why would she initiate with you? So when you do initiate as a dude, you're gonna get rejected a lot. I don't know why, but for some reason, women like to think that men don't get bothered by rejection. It's very bothersome. And it starts to impact the way we function in the outside world when we face a lot of rejection in the inside world. It's like inside our home. So women, do not overprice yourself. If you with a dude, you kind of got to accept that in the times that we live in the culture that we live in, hey, sex is in abundance in terms of in the media being thrown in your face all the time, so it's on people's minds. And if you got a dude that's very sexually attracted to you and he wants to be with you in that manner, don't be putting him on punishment and making him suffer and have to have more restraint and self-control than he probably really need to. Because all that self-control that he's exerting on you so that he keep his cool with you, he could be using that to function better in the world, to be more productive and progressive. But he got to exert all his energy on being patient with you because you acting uptight with the cootie cat. So women, don't overcharge. Don't be raising your price as the thing goes, and have the capacity to be honest with yourself, take some accountability, and be open-minded to see that you could be negatively impacting your relationship. It's not a one-way street. This Big Bro Grizz, you watching Player Talk, I'm out.